Civilization VI. In my opinion, calling Civilization VI the peak of the strategy genre wouldn't be an exaggeration. You start as the leader of a civilization and guide it from the ancient era all the way to the space age. Every civilization comes with its own unique abilities, unique units, and unique buildings, which means no two playthroughs ever feel the same. Personally, I love how Gandhi is infamous for nuclear aggression, Tamiris excels with cavalry-based warfare, and Gilgamesh dominates early-game combat. To me, each leader genuinely offers a different playstyle rather than just cosmetic flavor. The biggest innovation in Civ 6, in my opinion, is the district system. Buildings are no longer stacked in the city center. Campuses are built for science, holy sites for faith, and industrial zones for production. Each district requires smart placement. For example, placing a campus next to mountains gives you a science adjacency bonus. I think these adjacency bonuses add a huge amount of strategic depth and long-term planning to the game. There are 5 victory conditions: domination, capture all capitals; science, launch a mission to Mars; culture, attract tourists; religion, convert the world; and diplomatic, become the world leader. In my view, every victory type demands a completely different mindset. For a culture victory, you focus on wonders and great works. For science, you invest heavily in campuses and climb the tech tree as efficiently as possible. The technology tree and civics tree function separately. Technologies are unlocked through science, while civics are unlocked through culture. I think this dual progression system makes the game more complex, but also far richer. There are also eureka and inspiration moments. If you fulfill certain conditions, you can speed up research. For example, clearing a barbarian camp boosts bronze working. Small mechanics like this make every decision feel meaningful. The expansions take the game to another level. Rise and Fall introduces the Golden Age and Dark Age system, while Gathering Storm adds climate change, natural disasters, and the diplomatic victory condition. In my opinion, the base game is good, but the expansions are what deliver the full Civilization 6 experience. Civilization 6 is incredibly addictive. You keep telling yourself just one more turn, and suddenly hours are gone. Replayability feels endless. Maps are random, opponents are random. Sometimes your neighbor is an aggressive Zulu empire, sometimes it's a peaceful Gandhi. To me, that constant need to adapt is what makes Civ 6 special. Honestly, I think Civilization 6 is the king of turn-based strategy. If you haven't played it yet, that probably means you still have time in your life. Be ready to lose 100+ hours. Wasteland 3. Wasteland 3 is a mix of isometric RPG and turn-based tactics, set in a post-apocalyptic version of Colorado. In my opinion, it's one of InXile Entertainment's finest works. You play as the Desert Rangers, traveling from Arizona to the frozen wastelands of Colorado. The Patriarch, a powerful local ruler, asks for your help in finding his children in exchange for support. But of course, things are never that simple. Political intrigue, cults, and completely unhinged characters are everywhere. Combat isn't grid-based like XCOM, but positioning still matters a lot. There's a solid cover system with half cover and full cover, flanking bonuses, and accuracy boosts from high ground. Personally, I really enjoy the environmental interactions. You can blow up oil barrels or electrify pools of water to control the battlefield. Character build variety is excellent. Your squad consists of 6 rangers, and you decide every skill they develop: snipers, shotgun specialists, melee brawlers, medics, explosives experts. Almost any combination works. The quirk system adds extra personality. For example, taking the serial killer quirk rewards you with damage bonuses after each kill, which can seriously change how you approach combat. The game also features co-op multiplayer, allowing you to play the campaign with a friend. What I find especially interesting is how the game forces disagreements. Sometimes you and your co-op partner won't agree on a decision, and the game makes you choose anyway. Saving one group might mean sacrificing another. These moral dilemmas add real weight to the story. Your choices truly matter. Supporting one faction often turns another against you. Some consequences only appear hours later. If you kill certain NPCs, their quests disappear permanently. To me, this consequence-driven design gives Wasteland 3 real narrative power. The atmosphere is cold, dark, and absurd at the same time. Colorado is frozen solid, yet there are cultists worshipping the sun. There are Reagan Reavers, psychos who worship Ronald Reagan, and even a serial killer obsessed with clown music. This strange mix of tones is what makes Wasteland feel unique. In my opinion, Wasteland 3 successfully blends XCOM-like tactical depth with classic RPG storytelling. If you enjoy story-heavy tactical games, this one is absolutely worth playing. XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is to me the gold standard of tactical turn-based strategy. Firaxis Games perfected the formula of fighting against alien occupation. The story takes place 20 years after the first game. Humanity lost the war, XCOM was dismantled, and now you operate as a resistance force, launching covert missions from the mobile Avenger base. The concealment mechanic is one of the biggest changes. You start missions hidden from the enemy, allowing you to set up ambushes. If you manage to wipe out several enemies in the first turn, you gain massive momentum. But once the alarm goes off, reinforcements start pouring in. Squad customization is deep. There are 5 core classes: Ranger, Grenadier, Specialist, Sharpshooter, and Psi Operative. Each class has branching skill paths, allowing for very different builds. In my opinion, this flexibility is one of XCOM 2's biggest strengths. Permadeath is brutal. When a soldier dies, they're gone forever. You name them, customize them, and grow attached. Then a sectoid mind controls someone, a rookie panics, and your veteran dies. It hurts, and that emotional impact is intentional. Timed missions are controversial, but honestly, I like them. You usually have 8-10 turns to complete objectives, which forces aggressive play. Camping in cover forever isn't an option. Some players find this stressful, but to me, it adds tactical pressure and keeps the pacing sharp. Advent troopers, officers, shield bearers, sectoids, vipers, berserkers. Each enemy demands a different counter. You can't approach every fight the same way. The War of the Chosen expansion elevates the game even further. It introduces 3 powerful chosen enemies, Assassin, Hunter, and Warlock, who actively hunt you during missions. New factions like the Reapers, Skirmishers, and Templars add unique classes and mechanics. Mod support is fantastic. The Steam Workshop is packed with thousands of mods. Long War 2 alone can triple the campaign length. Cosmetic mods also let you customize your soldiers even further. XCOM 2 is punishing, brutal, and deeply rewarding. One mission is a flawless victory. The next is a complete squad wipe. These emotional swings are the soul of the game. If you want a serious tactical challenge, in my opinion, XCOM 2 is essential. Frostpunk. Frostpunk is technically a survival city builder, but its decision-making feels very strategic. In my opinion, it plays more like a strategy game than a typical builder. Developed by 11-bit studios, it's a dark and emotionally heavy experience. You lead the last city on Earth, built around a massive coal-powered generator. Cold is deadly, resources are scarce, and people are desperate. The true strength of Frostpunk lies in its moral decisions. Through the law system, you decide whether to allow child labor, harvest organs, or use propaganda. Every choice shapes your society. There are 2 main ideological paths: order and faith. Order focuses on authority, surveillance, and discipline. Faith relies on spiritual structures, sermons, and rituals. Both paths offer powerful bonuses, but both can push your society into morally dark territory. The game is scenario-based. Each scenario presents a different challenge. A new home serves as the introduction. The Arcs focuses on automation, and the last autumn revolves around building the generator itself. Each scenario feels distinct. Resource management is unforgiving. Coal, wood, steel, and food must be carefully balanced. If people starve, freeze, or lose hope, they revolt. Managing hope and discontent is just as important as managing resources. Frostpunk isn't turn-based, but the pause-and-plan gameplay makes it feel deliberate and thoughtful. This hybrid system works incredibly well. The endings are emotionally powerful. Sometimes you save the city but lose your humanity in the process. The game literally asks, you survived, but was it worth it? In my opinion, Frostpunk is a unique voice in strategy games. It's not just about winning, it's about what you're willing to sacrifice. Anyone who enjoys moral decision-making in games should experience it at least once. Total War. Shogun 2. Whether it's the best game in the Total War series is always up for debate, but in my opinion, Shogun 2 is the strongest entry. Creative Assembly really nailed almost everything here. You play as one of the daimyo fighting for control of feudal Japan during the Sengoku period. The ultimate goal is to become the shogun and unify the country. There are 9 major clans, each with unique bonuses that slightly but meaningfully change how you play. The campaign map is turn-based. You conquer provinces, manage your economy, handle diplomacy, and research technologies that unlock military upgrades and economic improvements. You also use agents, ninjas for sabotage and assassinations, and metsuke, not geisha, small correction, for administration and diplomacy. To me, this strategic layer feels clean and focused compared to later Total War games. The real magic, though, happens in the real-time battles. When armies clash, you're thrown into massive tactical encounters with thousands of soldiers on the field. Ashigaru spearmen, samurai swordsmen, Yari cavalry, and matchlock units all have distinct battlefield roles. Morale is absolutely critical. If a unit's morale breaks, it will rout. If your general dies, the entire army can collapse. Flanking enemies causes panic, and sudden cavalry charges can shatter formations. I think this psychological warfare layer adds a lot of depth beyond simple unit counters. The realm divide mechanic is controversial. Once you become too powerful, other clans unite against you. It slows your momentum and makes the endgame much harder. Some players hate it, but personally, I think it adds tension and prevents snowballing too easily. The Fall of the Samurai expansion is fantastic. Set during the Meiji Restoration, it pits traditional samurai against modern warfare, Gatling guns, ironclad warships, railways, and artillery. To me, this clash between old and new technology is one of the most interesting themes the series has explored. Visually, Shogun 2 still looks great. Cherry blossom trees, snowy mountains, and traditional Japanese architecture give it a timeless art direction. Overall, Total War Shogun 2 perfectly blends grand strategy with tactical combat. If you enjoy large-scale battles with meaningful decisions, I honestly think this one is essential. Iratus, Lord of the Dead. Iratus, Lord of the Dead feels like a darker, inverted version of Darkest Dungeon, but this time, you are the villain. Instead of heroes, you play as a necromancer, leading monsters. You take control of Iratus, a powerful necromancer trying to escape from an underground dungeon complex. This isn't a traditional RPG where you save the world. You're evil, and that's the point. You create minions and slaughter heroes who dare to challenge you. The minion creation system is genuinely unique. When you kill enemies, you harvest their body parts and use them to craft new undead units. Zombies, skeletons, banshees, vampires, there are 18 different minion types, each filling a specific role. Combat is turn-based 4v4 with heavy emphasis on positioning. Frontline tanks go in front, supports stay in the back. Some abilities can only be used from specific positions, which makes formation management crucial. There's a stress system inspired by Darkest Dungeon but reversed. Instead of managing your own stress, you weaponize fear and madness against your enemies. If enemies become too stressed, they panic, lose control, or flee entirely. To me, this mechanic makes Iratus stand out. Minions can be upgraded as they level up, unlocking new skills and equipment slots. Build diversity is strong, and experimenting with different undead compositions is part of the fun. There are two main talent paths: Wrath, more aggressive, and Destruction, more tactical and control-focused. Each favors different playstyles and minion types. Iratus is punishing. Permadeath exists. If a minion dies, it's gone, and you'll need to craft a replacement. Difficulty ramps up steadily throughout the campaign. If you like Darkest Dungeon but always wondered what it would feel like to play as the evil side, in my opinion, Iratus is a great choice. Into the Breach. Into the Breach, developed by Subset Games, the creators of FTL, is a brilliant tactical puzzle game about mechs fighting giant alien bugs. Combat is grid-based, played on an 8x8 board. You control 3 mechs, while enemies called the Vek attack cities. Your main goal isn't just killing enemies, it's protecting buildings. Every destroyed building damages your power grid, and once it's gone, the run ends. What really defines Into the Breach, in my opinion, is perfect information. You can see exactly what enemies will do on their next turn, where they'll attack, and how much damage they'll deal. This turns every encounter into a puzzle, where you try to find the optimal solution. Encounters are short, usually lasting 5 or 6 turns, but every move matters. One bad positioning choice can trigger a chain reaction of destruction. There's great variety in mech squads. Riftwalkers are balanced. Rusting Hulks focus on armor and control, and Zenith Guard rely on artillery. Pilots can be unlocked and carried over between timelines, which adds a nice sense of continuity. The game has a roguelite structure. If you lose a campaign, the timeline resets, but you can save one pilot and bring them into the next run. I think this small progression system works really well. Into the Breach is difficult, but fair. Losses almost always feel like your fault, not bad RNG. Randomness is minimal, and skill matters most. The pixel art is clean, the music is atmospheric, and while a campaign only lasts 3-4 hours, replayability is very high. Different squads and challenges keep it fresh. To me, Into the Breach feels like a puzzle game with deep tactical layers. If you want short, intense, and perfectly designed gameplay, this one is excellent. Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon combines gothic horror and Lovecraftian dread with brutal turn-based combat. It's a stress-filled masterpiece from Red Hook Studios. You're tasked with reclaiming your ancestors' cursed estate, but it's not just about fighting monsters. The real enemy is psychological horror. You recruit adventurers and send them into horrifying dungeons. The stress system is the heart of the game. Stress is just as important as health. Darkness, critical hits, seeing allies die, all increase stress. When stress reaches 100, heroes become afflicted, gaining traits like paranoia, hopelessness, or abuse toward teammates. Occasionally they become virtuous, but usually things go very wrong. Positioning matters a lot. Parties consist of 4 heroes arranged in ranks. Certain abilities only work from specific positions. Enemies can disrupt your formation, completely breaking your strategy. The affliction system is brutal. Afflicted heroes may refuse orders, skip turns, or even attack allies. This unpredictability creates constant tension. Permadeath is real. If a hero dies, they're gone forever, no matter how much time you invested in them. That emotional attachment followed by loss is a core part of the experience. Town management is also important. You send heroes to taverns or churches to reduce stress, cure diseases in the sanitarium, and upgrade gear through the blacksmith and guild. Darkest Dungeon is harsh and sometimes frustrating, but personally, I love how its mechanics and atmosphere work together. If you enjoy gothic horror and tough challenges, this is absolutely worth playing. Age of Wonders 4. Age of Wonders 4, released in 2023, is the latest entry in the series, and in my opinion, Triumph Studios absolutely nailed Fantasy 4X strategy here. You create your own faction from scratch. Race, culture, traits, and magical affinities are fully customizable. Dark elves can specialize in necromancy, high elves in celestial magic, orcs can lean into barbarian cultures, and and halflings can become nature-focused druids. To me, this level of freedom is one of the game's biggest strengths. The strategic layer is deep. You manage an empire, found cities, gather resources, and expand your influence. Instead of a traditional tech tree, the game uses the Tome of Magic system. Each tome unlocks new spells, units, buildings, and passive bonuses, which makes progression feel thematic and flexible. Combat is turn-based and hex-based, with fully manual control over your units. Positioning matters a lot. Flanking bonuses, elevation advantages, and terrain effects all play major roles. I think the combat strikes a great balance between accessibility and depth. Hero customization is extensive. As heroes level up, you choose skills and specializations: mage, warrior, support, or hybrids. You can equip gear, assign heroes to armies, and gain powerful army-wide bonuses. Multiplayer is solid, supporting up to 8 players. There's asynchronous turn support, which makes long matches much more manageable. Competitive and cooperative play both work well. Age of Wonders 4 is also very mod-friendly, with workshop support and an active community producing new content. To me, Age of Wonders 4 feels like a fusion of Civilization's grand strategy and Heroes of Might and Magic-style tactical battles. If you're looking for a top-tier Fantasy 4X game, this is one of the best options available right now. Hard West 2. Hard West 2 is a Weird West-themed tactical strategy game developed by Ice Code Games. In my opinion, it's one of the most creative XCOM-like games out there. You play as outlaws in a supernatural Wild West. The story kicks off with a failed attempt to rob a ghost train, leaving your crew cursed and driven by revenge. The tone mixes Western grit with occult horror, which I personally find very refreshing. Combat is clearly inspired by XCOM, but it introduces some clever twists. Cover still matters, but the bravado system changes everything. Killing an enemy restores action points, allowing you to chain kills together. One smart move can snowball into a devastating turn. The ricochet mechanics are especially creative. You can bounce bullets off walls and objects to hit enemies hiding behind cover. To me, this adds a puzzle-like layer to combat encounters. There's also a poker hand system. You collect cards and form poker hands that provide passive bonuses. Stronger hands, like a royal flush, give powerful effects, adding an extra risk-reward layer to decision-making. On the overworld map, the story progresses through selected locations and side missions. Characters develop over time, unlocking new skills and abilities. Hard West 2 is relatively short, around 15 to 20 hours, but very focused. The tactical combat is satisfying, and the Weird West atmosphere feels truly unique. If you enjoyed XCOM but want something different, I think Hard West 2 is well worth your time. Dorfromantik. Dorfromantik isn't a traditional strategy game. It's a relaxing tile placement puzzle strategy hybrid developed by Tucana Interactive, and honestly, that's what makes it special. You place hexagonal tiles, each representing terrain like forests, villages, fields, or rivers. The goal is to build long chains and matching regions to score points. When adjacent tiles match correctly, you're rewarded. There's a light quest system with objectives like place 10 forest tiles together, or complete a closed river loop. Completing these quests gives you extra tiles and keeps the run going. The game is turn-based but completely stress-free. There's no timer, no pressure, just calm music and a clean visual style. To me, it feels almost meditative. Dorfromantik is technically a strategy game, but it's very casual. It's not about optimization or difficulty, it's about relaxation. It's popular on PC and Nintendo Switch for exactly that reason. If you need a break from heavy, demanding strategy games, Dorfromantik is the perfect palate cleanser. SteamWorld Heist. SteamWorld Heist is a 2D side-scrolling, turn-based tactics game developed by Image & Form. In my opinion, it's one of the most charming tactical games ever made, mixing steampunk robot pirates with space adventure. You play as Captain Piper Faraday, leading a crew of steam-powered pirate robots while raiding enemy spaceships. The story isn't overly serious, but to me, that lighthearted tone is part of its charm. Combat takes place in a 2D side view and is heavily cover-based. What really sets it apart, in my opinion, is the manual aiming system. You don't rely on hit percentages. You actually aim your shots, calculate bullet trajectories, and even pull off ricochet shots by bouncing bullets off walls. Levels are procedurally generated, so ship layouts constantly change, which adds a lot of replayability. You collect loot like new weapons, hats, and equipment that directly affect gameplay. There's solid character progression as well. Each crew member gains XP, levels up, and unlocks unique abilities that encourage different playstyles. To me, SteamWorld Heist is casual-friendly, but still offers real tactical depth. It rewards skillful aiming and smart positioning. It also feels perfect on portable platforms. It plays incredibly well on Switch and mobile. If XCOM feels too serious or punishing, I think SteamWorld Heist is a fantastic, more lighthearted alternative. Solium Infernum. Solium Infernum is a cult classic strategy game, remade in 2024 by League of Geeks. In this game, you play as a demon lord in hell, competing with others to claim the infernal throne. It's a multiplayer-focused grand strategy experience for 2-6 players, built entirely around asynchronous turns. In my opinion, this is one of its strongest features. A single turn can last up to 24 hours, letting everyone play at their own pace. The core gameplay revolves around political intrigue and manipulation rather than direct combat. To me, brute force rarely feels like the winning strategy here. Instead, you rely on diplomacy, blackmail, ritual casting, and the unique vendetta system. The vendetta mechanic is especially interesting. You can formally insult another player, triggering a vendetta that leads to structured duels governed by Hell's strict honor system. I think this mechanic alone gives the game a personality you won't find elsewhere. Resource management is deep and demanding. You juggle prestige, tribute, souls, and ichor, alongside a card-based system featuring artifacts, rituals, and stratagems. Solium Infernum is slow, methodical, and deeply Machiavellian. There's no fast-paced action here. It's all about long-term planning and psychological warfare. Thanks to its asynchronous multiplayer, it's perfect for people with busy schedules. In my opinion, if you love diplomacy-heavy strategy games built around manipulation and mind games, Solium Infernum offers a truly unique experience. Farthest Frontier. Farthest Frontier is a city-building strategy game developed by Crate Entertainment, the studio behind Grim Dawn. It entered early access in 2023 and has continued to evolve since then. You manage a medieval settlement from the ground up, gathering resources, constructing buildings, and keeping your population alive. To me, it feels like a blend of Banished and Frostpunk, but with its own identity. While it isn't technically turn-based, the game allows you to pause at any time and carefully plan your next moves. The pacing is slow and deliberate, rewarding thoughtful decision-making. Survival mechanics play a big role. You need to stockpile food for winter, deal with disease outbreaks, and defend your town against raiders. Each season brings new challenges that force you to adapt. The production chains are surprisingly complex. Raw materials need processing, and farming is especially detailed, featuring crop rotation and soil fertility management. I included Farthest Frontier here because, in my opinion, it demands the same kind of strategic thinking as turn-based games, even though it runs in real time. If you enjoy city builders and strategy games that punish careless planning, this one is absolutely worth your time. Combat Mission. Barbarossa to Berlin. The Combat Mission series is a hyper-realistic World War II tactical simulator, and Barbarossa to Berlin focuses on the Eastern Front. This is not a casual game. It's a hardcore military simulation. Every unit represents individual soldiers, each with their own morale, fatigue, and ammunition. If a squad leader dies, the unit can fall apart. The game uses a WEGO system. Players issue orders during the planning phase, then watch a 60-second execution phase, where everything plays out simultaneously. It feels real-time, but with turn-based control. Line of sight is manually calculated, and terrain matters a lot. Hills, forests, and buildings provide cover. Suppression fire is vital, and morale plays a huge role. Panicked soldiers retreat or refuse orders. Armor modeling is extremely detailed. Tanks have distinct frontal, side, and rear armor. Everything from Panzerfausts to Panther tanks is realistically simulated. Campaigns and scenarios cover historical operations from Operation Barbarossa to the fall of Berlin, with accurate orders of battle. Combat Mission has a steep learning curve. Honestly, you can't really play it without reading the manual, but it teaches real-world military tactics better than almost any other game. Graphics are dated, but the simulation depth is unmatched. Multiplayer includes classic PBM play-by-email support. If you're looking for a realistic military simulator, Combat Mission is unmissable. But to be clear, it's not for casual players. It's for hardcore tactics fans.